Hey there, I'm Ken, this is Canadian Retro Things. Welcome to part 2 of my CoCoFest journey. In part 1, you saw me leave my place near Vancouver, Canada, go all the way to Chicago, attend CoCoFest, meet a bunch of awesome people, and buy a bunch of stuff. If you haven't seen that video yet, there's the link. Check it out. Link's also down there. So, in this video, I am going to continue on my driving adventure. So, let's check it out. Remember when I said we finished our meal, said goodbye, and left? Well, that was a lie. That's what we intended. What we did was we went and looked at some of the VCF Midwest collection. We were supposed to do that for 20 or 30 minutes. Well, many hours later, we finally left. Now, unfortunately, our plan to stop and sleep for a few hours was out the window, and we had to be in Pennsylvania in the morning for a meeting that Curtis had. So we drove all night, making it to the meeting just a few minutes late. From the east side of Pennsylvania, we headed down to West Virginia. Hurricane, West Virginia to be exact. We were there to visit Boat and Aaron of the Amigos Retro Gaming channel. While at Boat's house, we did an impromptu live stream about the Gimme X. And if you want to see what me and Curtis look like after 40 plus hours without sleep, check out the link to that video in the description. From there, we visited Aaron's house and talked more retro. It was really awesome to meet the Amigos in person. Our evening came to an end and we had to get back on the road, finally stopping for the night in Jackson, Ohio. The next morning, after some much-needed sleep and a much-needed shower, we hit the road again. This was the beginning of yet another marathon driving session, all the way back to Saskatoon. This one took us about 32 hours, thanks to hitting the outskirts of Chicago right at rush hour. But we finally made it back into Canada without any problems, and back to Saskatoon, where I took about a day and a half off to recover before heading back onto the road towards Vancouver. Just as a side note, I am never trusting Google Maps again. Why, you ask? Well, I've driven from Saskatoon to Calgary many times, but I decided to see which route Google Maps would say was the fastest. It gave me a route I'd never used before, but it was a fair bit shorter. Although it took almost an hour longer thanks to the Goat Trail highways, the one-lane bridges, and the gravel roads it sent me down. I drove 450 kilometers, that's 280 miles for my American friends, without passing a gas station or a store. I barely even saw a farmhouse. I think it must have an avoid civilization function that I must have accidentally turned on. Other than my adventure across the prairies, the remainder of the trip went well. Once in central BC, I had an appointment to keep with one of my viewers who was willing to part with some of his collection for a very reasonable price. So, before the final push of my almost 10,400 kilometer trip, these were the extra goodies I purchased. And some of the stuff that I picked up on my travels home were 2 Black Beauty joysticks in the box with the price tag still on it. That is $37.95 plus 2 deluxe joysticks. But wait, these 2 deluxe joysticks are not the same. One is a Tandy deluxe joystick. One is a TRS-80 deluxe joystick. And as you can see, the difference being that the TRS-80 joystick only has one button on it. This one is in a little bit rougher shape. It needs a little bit of work. It's missing one of the switches on the back. But I think we'll be able to get that going, especially since I still have that IBM PC Junior joystick for parts. Something else that I picked up, the one thing that is not Tandy, was this Commodore US 8 calculator, which definitely is going to get a video of its own. It's in excellent shape. It does work. I plugged it in. And yeah, it's got this particular calculator, has an interesting history, and it goes great in my collection of calculators. And then there is this tub o' stuff. Ta-da! It is a big pile of manuals and games. Oh, so many games. Look at all of these games. Some of which I do have, many of which I don't. So it is going to be fun to go through these, and apparently they all work except for 2 of them. And here is the piece de resistance of the second half of my trip. It is a Tandy 1000 TL with a Tandy CM5 monitor and a Tandy enhanced keyboard. This one is definitely getting its own video. And that is the end of my adventure. I picked up a lot of awesome stuff on this trip. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing videos about all of the stuff that I picked up right away because I'm about to head out to my cabin and I unfortunately can't take everything with me. But some of the stuff I will be taking and doing videos on. The other stuff, videos will come later this year. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. And I will see you next time.